PGTV. Tonight I'm here with Danny Taylor, one of my old fishing buddies. We're fishing for sea trout and we're looking to catch them on the fly. I've got a friend of mine who's tied me some really good local Christchurch Harbour flies, Paul Shuttler. He's a real experienced pro when it comes to sea trout in the harbour. He knows all about it. He's given me 13 flies to try. The first one I've got is this one right here. It's a gold-headed, kind of a barbershop type fly. It's called a Swinny Todd. Paul swears by them. He's got a little tag at the back end and he's using a size 4 hook, long shank, and I think that could do the business. I'm using about 12 foot of fluorocarbon on a 5/6 loop rod with a sinking tippet of about 10 feet, and I'm going to be presenting it on a floating line. So that's my setup on the fly side. I've also brought along with me a spinning rod, and I've learned that these sea trout, they love small spinners. We've had 3 on and 3 off in the last couple of days, so I'm just going to show you the spinner I've got. It's, believe it or not, a dinky MEPS 1 blue spot silver blade, and you can't get much smaller than that, ladies and gentlemen. And Danny, what gear have you got, Danny? What have you got? What spinners are you using, Danny? Let's see. Oh, you just bought yourself a new one, have you?
Yeah.
Let's have a look at it. Oh, it looks mean, man. MEPS what, 3?
I think it's about 3.
It's a MEPS 3. It looks like the bee's knees. So you've got a MEPS 3, and on the fly side, what are you going for? Is it? Oh, it's a proper Welsh. Is it a Welsh treble? Is it? Look at that. That's sweet. What would you call that? Any idea? It's gonna catch.
A sea trout fly.
It's gonna catch you a big one, isn't it?
Yeah, oh, without a doubt.
He's set to go. So, and again, you're using floating line. Was it 7/8 rod?
Yeah.
And
rod,
notice,
7/8.
can I just show my viewers that you've gone for a really, really large reel, and there's a reason behind that, because Mark told me all about it. He said if you get a 20-pound beast that strips you clean because you can't handle.
You're going to need it, yeah.
Yeah, if he comes towards you like a torpedo and you can't keep up.
You need to wind it in.
So you guys have learnt from experience to go for these really big, wide reels that really do pick up the line quickly.
Oh yes.
Let's hope that you get a chance to show us and show the viewers tonight.
Hope so.
So, no, that's wonderful. So we're fishing Christchurch Harbour. Danny put me onto this a couple of weeks ago. We've had a couple of sessions. This is the first session for Danny in about 2 years, so let's hope he brings good luck, and let's hope we can catch 1 or 2 of those sea trout as they're running. Right. So, it's quite cold. Right, we're just stripping back. We're fishing Christchurch Harbour for sea trout. I've got on a special little fly here which I'm using for the sea trout. And just trying to get out to the fish. It's quite shallow. We're on pretty low water, but we can get quite far out here, which is good news. Just stripping it back, but it's amazing how shallow this is. It's really low. So let's get out to the deep pool. Out we go. It's really shallow here. I've never seen it so shallow. We've got fish jumping right under our nose. Do you see that jump? So there are fish here. Just stripping it back. Just stripping it back. And out we go. That wind is not easy to handle, but we can just say wade out quite far. It's amazing. I didn't realise we can get out this far. But the deep hole is just toward that boat, and I've got a sinking line to get down. So let's see if we can get onto it. There we go. So we're getting out quite far now. Fish, or is it bottom? Bottom. 'Twas not fish, 'twas bottom, for sure. Right, let's just try in the shallows here. So fishing in the shallows, just seeing whether there's some way we can catch a sea trout in this shallow area here. Can but try. Yeah, I've got to watch. Yeah, I've got to watch those chains. But I'm fishing the shallows, Danny. In case there's a fish in the shallows. Right, let's get the spinning rod out and see whether we can get a fish on the spinning rod. £7 o'clock. I'll go with the Meps 1, the spinner, silver with a blue spot. See how far we can cast her. Not much weight on her. We'll just see how far she'll go in the wind here. This is not the best, heaviest spinner in the world, but it's getting out there, which is important. We'll let that sit, and then we'll work it back. Well, I'm going to try the Meps 1, Danny. Okay. See if there's anything that wants that. Slow retrieve on the current. Just letting it work itself. And let's have a look and see if anything will hit that. It might. You might want it. A bit of weed down there. So I'm getting down low. That's for sure. Let's clean that up. And let's go again. So I'm getting down low. There we go. That can get distance now. I'm going to feed a bit of line. So we're fishing with £8 line on a small little sea spinning rod. The Meps, perfect size Meps, I think. And it's working lovely. Just look at that. It's working a treat. I'm really, really pleased with this Meps. And I'll get the underwater camera on that in a minute. So let's cast to our right. Since the current is moving from right to left, that way it will get down and we can cover a big arc. And give it a 3 or 4 second countdown and then we'll move it back. Just got to watch the chains between these boys and just see how far we can get out to these fish. So just a little knock there, just a little touch. Could be bottom, but could be fish as well. Oh, it looks good. It looks good. Let's go down into the river section here and work it through. It's quite amazing just how far we can get out. So that's looking good. Really, really good. I'm pleased with that. I want to get out to that channel. I think there could be fish lying in the channel there. I think that's worth a go. Everything looks good. Let's get out to the right of that boat. There we go. Lovely, 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 lovely. Yeah, give it a 5 second countdown. It's amazing how far you can chest weight out, Danny.
Yeah.
It's amazing. How far have you gone?
Not far.
Wow. I'm surprised just how far we can chest weight on low tide. The current's quite strong going out. Any tugs or any touches? Just trying a bit closer to the channel here. I'm fishing off a concrete plinth, which is basically the anchor chain for moorings built in. So feels pretty solid and secure. Hopefully we'll be able to locate a fish or two in this little channel here. That's picking up a bit of bottom there, so we're getting deep, which is what we want. There we go again. Do a 3 second countdown. might be better. So 1, 2, 3, and work that through. Because we've got the other. Oh, that's a nice jumper. See that? I wonder if I disturbed him or you disturbed him. That was a good fish. Maybe more. That was right on your fly, wasn't it? My spinner wasn't far away. I think we're disturbing something here. It's a crasher. Another one jumping there. Right, let's try out and run here, see whether we can get any fish to come onto this. Might get lucky. It's only about 2 feet deep at this level, but it could just drop off quite quickly, so just going to give it a shot. Fish, look at those fish jumping. That's something chasing another fish there. So let's see what is there. That looked like a big fish jumping away from another fish there, having a jump. So we'll go again. There we go. Give that a chance to sink, and then we'll just take a round. So we're working well. Looks good. Fish jumping. Lots of fish jumping here, but I'm now in the main channel, so we can sink it down a bit more. More flow, more channel. And fish jumping, just look at that, sea trout. Just behind that buoy there, so I wonder if we can get one. Nice to make a connection. Let's just try behind the buoy. There we go. Now we're fishing in the deeper channels, right near the buoy. Just trying to pick out that sea trout if we can. There's a fish that just jumped. Right, let's get onto it. Got a jumper. Let's get onto it. Perfect. Let's see around. Dangle fishing here, just holding it on the dangle. They might just want to come up behind it and hit it. So really slow retrieve with the current. Dangle fishing. Just hit the bottom there, so it's getting quite deep. Let's have a look at that. Oh, we had a follow. Right under my nose, just look at that. Followed it all the way up. So dangle fishing is where it's at. Just saw a sea trout come up and just right at the tip of my rod. Really slowly. Oh, we're in then, we had a bite. He hit the spinner and then just jumped out the water. You can see the sea trout. We're into a sea trout zone here. I can see fish swirling right next to us. Look at this. We have got a hot spot, ladies and gentlemen. We found a hot spot. So let's see if we can get a fish now. Slow it down the retrieve. So we've got a hot spot. Hopefully we can catch one of these fish. Nice and slowly now. Come on, sea trout. You like this MEPS one? Delicate small little MEPS. We can always up the MEPS, but I'm just happy to stay with one at the moment. Look, there's another one jumping. Slowest retrieve you can imagine. Really slow. Beautiful evening this is. Beautiful. It's dangle fishing. The Mep's one. Just feel it working. Want something to come and slam it. Working it slowly through the harbour. We've got fish on. Fish on, ladies and gentlemen. We have a fish on. It's come off. On and off, and that was a sea trout. Slowest retrieve, that's what I want, slow retrieve. How did that come off? Oh, I had it on. Sea trout, of about £1.5 pounds. So, I had a feeling this little Meps is working nicely. They are the most delicate bites. Delicate bites. Alright, let's see if we can get another one. Leaped in front of our eyes there, 2 or 3 times. So let's see if we can get another one. Slow retrieving is required with the flow. So we hooked into a sea trout, ladies and gentlemen, on a small Meps one. So we've got the right technique now. Just through the hooks in mid-air. Those sea trout are so acrobatic. So acrobatic. So good at shaking the hooks. That's what makes them an extra challenge. So, really good bit of sport this. Well, I was into my first sea trout of the evening and it was on for about 5 seconds. We saw it come up in the air, acrobatically shaking the hooks, and they are just so clever at shaking hooks, these fish. I'm using a very small Meps, but there might be another one there for us, so let's just keep with it. We've got the idea now. We've got the idea. Slow retrieving and against the current. So if the current's going that way, you want the Meps to work. Fish jumping right there. We're in a hot spot. Nice and slow retrieving. Right, let's see if we can get one on to stay on this time. We've got razor sharp hooks on there. They're just so good at shaking. It must be the lightest of hookups. And they're so acrobatic. As soon as they feel any resistance, they're straight up in the air, jumping 2 or 3 feet. Clever fish. Makes them such a challenge. So that's 4 sea trout hooked and nothing completely brought in all the way. Little jumper right here. Fish just jumped close in. We're going to work it back. See if he's still there. Might be there. Fish on? I think we have. Fish on, ladies and gentlemen. Fish on. Is it a bass or is it a trout? We've got a fish on at last. I think it's a bass. It's fighting well. It could be a sea trout. But he's well and truly hooked and its fish is running. He's running up towards us. Is he going to leap out of the air? I think because it's not leaping, I think this could be a bass. But we've got a fish in the harbour, ladies and gentlemen. Fish on. Let's have a look at it. I think this could be a bass. It's fighting well. Fish is on. He's kicking off. He's kicking off. I've got him on. Another fish jumping. Is it? It feels more like a bass than a sea trout, but it may be. He's fighting well. He's fighting well. He's coming towards us. Get his head up. Let's have a look at him. It's a bass, I think. Feels like a bass fight to me. Oh, he's fighting well. He's taking line. He's stripping. He's stripping. Danny! Danny! Fish on! He's fighting really well. We might have to get the underwater camera on him as he comes in a bit closer. He's just stripping. He's stripping. He's going well. He's off. Feels like a bass to me. He's just stripping. So let's try and get his head up now. Off he goes. He's on a run. He's on a run. Oh, fighting well, fighting well. This is great wild fishing. Hoping it's a sea trout, but I think sea trout would have come up by now. I think this is a bass going on the fight. It looks like a bass. But he's come up, he's stripping line. He's hit that Meps 1 really hard. Here he comes. Just trying to give him some left hand side, trying to keep in touch with him. Just trying to get his head up. He's coming towards us. Here he comes. He's coming closer. It's actually a decent sized bass, I think. He is going, he's stripping. He's stripping. He doesn't want to come towards us. He's a good fish. Oh, he's fighting well. Oh, he's fighting really, really well. It's a lovely, it might even be a mullet. I may have had a mullet here. Let's have a look at him. It could well be a mullet. It is a mullet. We have a mullet on, ladies and gentlemen. And there we have him. Mullet on. And he's a thin lip mullet. And it's a beauty. Just look at that. Took the Meps 1. He's beautiful. Absolutely stunningly beautiful. Let's wet our hands. So he's about 1.5 pounds. And there he is, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll just unhook him. Only gently duck the most delicate of hookings. Out he comes. And I'll just show you the fish in the harbour here. That's what we have. We have a stunning, beautiful, thin lip mullet in the harbour, and that's an absolute peach. And we're going to do a release down here, so we'll just hold him, and he wants to kick, and we'll let him go. Off he goes. Wow, wonderful bit of sport. So hard fighting thin lip mullet there. It's a wonderful bit of sport. Really enjoying this. We've lost a sea trout, we've had the mullet. They like that Meps, that small Meps they like. So I'm delighted. Very, very happy indeed. It's lovely, it's really nice. So we've had the mullet, we've had the sea trout connection and leaped off. See whether we can get another sea trout. That's what we're after. We're after these sea trout, but there's fish jumping all over the shop. That Meps 1, I do think it's... Look at the fish jumping! What, mullet? The sea trout are jumping over here though. They're right over here in the deep water. I thought it was a bass. It turned out to be a highly turbocharged mullet. Hit that. Pretty little fish it was. And another sea trout just jumped there. So I'm going to try and get onto him if I can. We've got some activity here. We've got some activity. I'm going to try and get one of these sea trout. If we can. That wind's just picking up now. Sea trout? Danny, I tell you, they do it to you all the time, mate. Danny's just lost a sea trout. You hook into it, they jump out and they just shake the hooks. Clever little things, these sea trout. They're really difficult to catch. That's the bit we're getting. They're not taking the fly, they're taking the small spinner. We'll put the fly through. It would be much more fun to catch them on the fly, but they seem to be just taking the smaller spinners. What? You hooked up someone else's line? Danny's having a bit of fun. Oh, look at this, look at this. We've got fish jumping under our nose. Let's go for it, let's go for it. We've got a lot of fish here. I think Danny's pushed them down my way. He's disturbed the pool. So I'll just go this side, give it 3-second countdown, and slow retrieve with the current. That's the technique. Coming across on about a 45-degree angle. That's what they like. on the curve. So it's kind of coming across and just stepping down, working it, almost like you'd work the river. Is a technique I'm adopting and getting some results here. Danny's made a hook up, so I think he's pleased. There we go. There's fish jumping right here. I can see the bubbles. Look, they're coming right next to me here. I might have to put a spinner through this angle here. We're getting into the main channel now, so just keep working it. Now, one of the record harbour mullets about £12. Just a little knock there. And again, little knock. Just little touches. Right. The last hour is always the most effective as that sun begins to set. We'll get some more takes, more bites, and we'll just have to keep working it through. Keep working it. Wind's picking up a little bit. There's good flow on here. Current is running out to sea. Getting some little touches. And there we go again. This is great fishing. This is really wild fishing. Just weighed in the clay pool in August. See if we can get another connection. And that's coming up to 8 o'clock. Church bells are going, Priory. So this is the best time of the evening to be out. Hopefully one of us will get a sea trout. That's what we'll come out for. Those sea trout. And I'll be happy with a £1 sea trout. I'm not even after a biggie, just want to see one. Nice fresh one. There we go. And we know there's 12 to £15 sea trout coming through here because they've been crashing. So you try catching them, they're very hard. Got to be one of the hardest fish to catch. I'm getting little knocks. Winter fish, yep. Fish on! Danny, fish on! Fish on! Just going to tighten up the clutch a little bit. He's coming our way. He's still on. Oh, he's come off. He's come off. Yeah! That was on for about 15 seconds, that one. That was more like a sea trout. Right, we're in again. Yeah, fish on. Yeah, fish on. He's flicking. I think I found a hot spot, Danny. Fish on. And again, they're jumping, they're jumping. This could be a sea trout. It may be a mullet though. Let's have a look at it. Is it another mullet? Let's bring him round. Get his head up. I'm not sure, it looks like a mullet to me. I think it could be a mullet. Thin-lipped. He's made a connection. Is it a sea trout? Let's have a look at it. It looks like another mullet. Thin-lipped mullet. Another thin-lipped mullet. Yeah. Oh dear, these mullet for their pound for pound, they go really well. They go well, don't they go well? Here he comes, here he comes. He's going, he's going. He's not happy yet. Here he comes. It's a mullet, I can see it. It's another thin-lipped. We're producing some good sport here, but not our target species. Here he comes, here he comes. Wet our hands. Wet our hands. There he is. He's a beauty, absolute beauty. And pristine condition fish, absolutely pristine. Just look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Just slip the hooks out, and there you have him again. The most beautiful, beautiful mullet. And he's gone, he's gone. So, they can't resist these little spinners, can they? Oh, hopefully amongst them there's some sea trout, which I know there are because I've seen them jumping. And this would be interesting on the fly here. So we've got some flies. So let's just see where we are. Making contact now with some good sport. It's a chugger. Guy could do some help with his engine. Watch out for the tidal wave. That guy's a joker. Can't believe how many people are on his boat. He could do with some engine maintenance though. He's smoking like a trooper. Diesel engine, it just doesn't sound right, does it? It doesn't sound right, a speedboat like that with a chugger. A diesel chugger. There's fish jumping out there. Probably is. Look at these aircraft over here, look at this. We've got a display going on, mate. I reckon the Red Arrows might be down doing a Friday night display. It's one of the RAF Top Gun, yeah. Top Gun. Come on, one of us has got to get this sea trout. So I had a really good hookup, Danny. Had it on for 15 seconds and it just jumped up in the air and leaped. And it shook the hooks and it was a sea trout right in front of my nose. Had it on for 15, I thought I had it. Those sea trout are very, very hard to hold on to. Here we go, here we go. Look, he's seen us, he's seen us. He's giving us an aerial. We've got an aerial. Yay! Oh! Wicked! Thunderbirds are go! Okay, Virgil. It's the Thunderbird special, isn't it? That was funny. You got that boat going out with fins, got an airplane going over us with fins. Now we need a fish. We need fish with fins, mate. I'll tell you what, those thin-lipped mullet, they're really hard to catch, but they're lovely. They go better than the thick-lipped, pound for pound. But you know, the record mullet's in this harbour. The British record is in, I think it's £12 or something. Wow. You could end up with a torpedo. Honestly, they could hit that. You could end up with a torpedo, mate. Honestly. But the top spot here, see that green buoy? You can get up almost up close to it, and it's just off that green buoy at a 45-degree angle is the hot spot. He's come back. He's coming back for more. Ooh, oh, watch out for the holes. There's the odd hole around. Look, I found a gully down there. Look, there's a gully. There's a hole right there. I thought that first fish, I thought it was a bass, Danny.
See how that water's come up?
Keep an eye on it, because we don't want to get stranded out here, do we? We won't. Honestly, this is so... What?
We'll be swimming.
Pretty harbour. Let's go for fishing. I mean, now that guy's gone, we've got the whole place to ourselves now. But that surprised me, actually. I know it is, mate, because I had 3 last time I came this time of day. But this sea trout.
You've got a chance for salmon coming off that.
Well, I'll tell you what, on a MEPS 1, a salmon on here, that would be fun, wouldn't it? £8 line. Yeah. As long as it's a grill, so I'll be able to handle it. If it's a thunderbolt, I won't.
Just let your reel do the work, mate.
Well, it's all set.
There's hardly any snags, is there?
So yeah. As long as you keep it away from these chains and all the buoys. But while it's low, I might just try the corner swim where that guy was fly fishing, because he had a lot of activity there, but he wasn't catching, was he? Did you see him catch?
No, cover such a big area.
I'm going to take that corner swim there and see how it goes, because I've got a feeling there could be a lot of fish on that corner swim.
Well, even though the top of the water's going that way, the underneath's going that way.
Yeah. This is proper wild fishing. I love that. I know they're mullet, but I still loved it.
Yeah, you just get like about 300 or 400 of them. So you pass over them like that, and boom, straight away.
Oh, big ones.
Yeah, no, they're good,
I
good size ones. Yeah.
I hooked a carpenter tail the other day, and I thought it was a 20-pounder.
Oh, yeah,
Turned out to be a 7-pounder turbocharged.
Yeah, they do go, mate.
Well, okay. Well, I'm gonna work my way up to that corner from here. I reckon your hot spot. Okay. We'll compare notes, but keep an eye on the tide. We don't want to get caught out. But over here, it goes down to 7 or 8 feet. That's why I'm fishing it. The depth. It's exactly where I'm going to stick my spinner. What? Oh yeah. I can't believe I'm fishing this close. Can you? Look at the depth. It's like 2 feet. It's unbelievable. Huh? Huh? Is there a pit? Right, getting some depth. You reckon there's a pit there? How deep? Right. I'm going to walk across this side, just see how deep it is, so I know where I am. It is slightly deeper. Oh, I see what you mean, yeah. Danny, you're right there, mate. Honestly, you're right. This is a hole. This is a hole. So we've got to get back before we get... Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, yeah, I can see it. Now I found the hole. That's a good place to spin. And it shallows up just here. So that is a hole. So now we know that's the hole. Let's bear that in mind in the future. It's well worth putting your fly through that hole there. Big boy, we sat there. But did you realise you can walk up beyond that hole and fish even closer, but you can end up with a problem. Stranded, mate. If that tide comes in quick, you end up being stranded, so you've got to be very careful fishing this. You almost want to plot it out on low water first, before you take any unnecessary risks. Oh, that sun is setting. Oh, we've got some depth here. We've got depth here. There's some depth here, mate. Look at this. This is what you call the overflow area. See the curve? The rivers have both channeled out a hole. The hole's right here. That's the hole. Where that guy's boat was on the hole. You want a bit of contour. So that's good to know this. So this is the hole. And it shallows up. So basically, you've got to fish off that curve. Danny, that curve represents your fishing platform. Everything else around that's going to be curved. You've got the same contours there as we have here, but much deeper. I can feel it just building up. You've got to know where the holes are. I still think Standpit could be worth a go sometime. They think? Okay. Cool, big fish jumping there. Big fish jumping there. You can feel it's quite soft under feet here, isn't it? Very silty. Yeah. Got to be careful. But you can just feel you're fishing off a mound, basically.
Yeah, right here.
Can you feel it? Well, one of us has got to get a sea trout, surely. Did you get any knocks on the fly, by the way?
No.
Because the preferred way to get them is on the fly, for sure. You've actually got a little bit of flow, less flow than what we had before. Yeah? Why not? The wind. But Danny, the wind's dried down now, dropped down. I might join you on that. Oh look, they're jumping. That's sea trout jumping in the back.
Good feeling, mate.
Yeah, it does feel good, doesn't it? They are jumping. The sea trout are jumping. Danny's going to get that fly rod working. I can see it. Right, Danny's got the fly rod working in the harbour here, Claypool. He's working that fly. There's sea trout jumping all over him. He's had one connection that came off. But we're in that lovely time of the evening where the fish are starting to move. Danny feels confident. Alright, cheers mate. What's that? Is that my bottle of water or? Oh, that's a good marker to keep an eye on. Good idea. The other option is to fish the spinner on the fly rod. That'd be fun. Put the spinner on the fly rod. You ever tried that? No. You get the effect of the fly going off, but you get the spinner working. 8:30. I want to see some really big sea trout crashing now. That's what we want to see. Big sea trout crashing. Absolutely. There's a few jumping. Is it lovely or is it lovely? That wind's just dropping off, isn't it? Is it working nice? Oh, that does look good. Oh, look at them jumping. Sea trout jumping all over the place. Nice. In fact, I'm going to get my fly rod as well. We've got fish right under our nose here. Right under our nose, so I'm going to just get it out there. Just see whether we can work this correctly. Let's pull some line out. Get it working. Danny's had a hook up. And he's had some fun with his hook up because it came off after 5 seconds. But I just want to see if I can work this peninsula. It's a deep hole here. And I think we've got a chance of some fish if we can just work it correctly. Let's see if I can get this working and work the wind to our advantage. It's getting out there. I'm just going to build it up, build it up. It's quite shallow here, so just working it back. Using a pull shutter special. Sweeney Todd, that's what he calls it. Sinking line, floating, sinking tippet, floating line, and we've got about 10 foot of fluorocarbon. Big one crashing, Danny? You had it on? How long for? Danny's had a second fish on the fly, but it's come off after about 3 seconds. So it feels good. Sea trout or mullet? They like your fly. They like your fly. There we go. Getting some distance on it. Danny's in pole position there. Just working his curve now. See if we can get a pick up. Working the curve. Beautiful. Feels good. Feels right. Just working the back. Let's see if we get a connection here on the fly. Would be nice. Feels like a nice even for it. Does feel good. I'm going to go again. There we go. We've got quite a big fly on here. But we'll step down the size of the fly if it's too big for them, but it should be okay. There we go. Oh, another fish jumping. A little bit further out though. So we've got a few jumpers here, and the sun is setting nicely. Just getting down now. And then we can work this clock here. It's all curvature, big hole. We know there's a big hole there. And the flood is coming in now. You can see it's building. So they'll move on this high spring tide we've got. It's 1.7 and high water's at 11. So we're just hitting the flood. I think it's perfect. And look, there's a fish jumping right next to Danny's swim. And we're going out. Out we go. And give that a chance to sink down because it is getting quite deep here. And then retrieve. Slow retrieve or fast retrieve, Danny? Quite fast. Are you getting them on the fast retrieve? Okay. Oh, you're doing a figure of 8? Fast figure of 8, okay. Let's go out from. Let's go out. Here we go. Let's use the wind to our advantage. Going out a bit further, let that wind take it that distance. In the hole. In the hole. See if we can get one on the fly. Alright, this will be fun. This will be fun. Try and get a connection. And we could always change fly to something a bit smaller, but there's fish jumping. There's one out there. To my left. Disturb something. We're going to go again. I tell you what, Danny, on the spring tide, the tides move quick. They don't hang about. 1.7 is a biggie. Out we go. There's a few fish jumping out there. You can see them crashing. I think it's about 9 o'clock. We've got fish rising here. Any takers? Any takers? It's 9 o'clock. The sun is setting. On 9 o'clock they jump. Huh? On the dot, mate. 9 o'clock we got jumpers. You got quite a small fly on, haven't you? I've got quite a big fly on. I wonder if I should change flies. Here it all comes. Sorry? Yeah. That's going to be covered in about 5 minutes, that little mound. They don't come in quick though, doesn't it? You can get caught out. Just be careful, because sometimes you've got a deep hole behind. Look at this. What? You're not stuck, are you? What? I just drop back. Just keep dropping back a bit so you don't get into. What? You should be okay. Just keep coming back. Just lift up your chest waders right up. You'll be alright, mate. You'll be okay, honestly. What? You'll be alright. Just keep coming back, honestly. There is a little bit of a hole there. Shallow there. Honestly, you've got little holes. You've got to be ever so careful. You think you're in shallow, and suddenly behind you is a big hole. It's nice fly weather though, isn't it? It's nice fly evening. Just had a take on Paul Shuttler's fly just here. Grabbed it and then let go. It was on for about 3 seconds. So Danny's had a couple of takes as well on his smaller fly. So we've got some takers here, mate. We've got some takers. See if we can get another connection going. Let's get the connection going. Fish jumping. Oh, oh, in again. I'm getting these little funny bites. They're hitting it and then letting go. Look, there's 3 fish underneath my nose. They followed it in. Look, you can see them. They're spoiling in front of my nose. Do you reckon they're mullet? Sea trout do it as well. Look, here they are, here they are. You reckon they're mullet? We'll soon find out. Oh, they're just nipping it. They're nipping it. Well, I wouldn't mind a mullet on the fly rod, but I prefer a sea trout. Turbocharged. It's a little bit easier with a spinner, isn't it? Not so much fun, but at least you can get to where you want to be at distance. It's jumping. I've had a couple of beautiful, oh look, there's fish jumping all over the place. I've had a couple of really nice mullets. So we've had a couple of mullets. We're having a really good session here, and I lost a sea trout that went up in the air 2 feet and just came off. That was so close. But we're having a lovely evening, Danny and I, here down in Christchurch Harbour on the clay pool, and fly fishing and spinning the small meps. And let's hope we can catch a decent sea trout, and then just show you the beautiful area we live in here, all the way through here. You can just see how pretty it is here. You can see the Needles and the Isle of Wight just in the distance there. It's like way out there. It's just over there. There we go. So you've got Needles and the Isle of Wight. And you've got all this nice land here. You've got the harbour. You've got Hingersbury Head. And you can see the clay pool on local it's all exposed. So there we go. There's Danny doing his business with the fly rod. That's lovely. Beautiful, beautiful.